All right. Hello, everybody. Colin with the SoundTestRoom.com here. Today, we're going to take a nice long look at Auria from Wave Machine Labs here. Specifically, just kind of a getting started features overview here. So we're not going to get into anything too technical with the channel strips or anything like that. But we are going to build a project and try and cover as much as we can along the way. So right off the bat, I also want to make it known I am not a professional recording engineer. I have a day job working for the man at the grocery store, and I do the SoundTestRoom.com in my free time with Doug. And so take what I say here with a grain of salt. But yeah, let's kind of dive right in here. So we have our mixer view and our edit window. And the edit window is where the bulk of the action is going to happen to begin with here. Right up on top here, we have the undo, redo, our menus, which is mostly importing our audio over here, importing our projects, exporting them, things like that. Our edit options here, these are all cut, copy, paste, etc., which we can find right along the header here too. So a lot of this stuff is just in there, saving you a tap by just having it right up front there. Processing the audio, we can do things like reverse it, silence it. We'll cover a little bit of that, hopefully a little bit later. Transport controls up here. There are a number of transport options. We can set locators so that if you want to have a little loop, you could have set a locator here, locator out right there, and then loop this. So now when we hit play here, this will just loop back and forth between itself. You can kind of see it'll happen there. All sorts of other stuff here like set markers, etc. Turn on our metronome. Lots of good stuff. We can also clear the locators that we just made. So very cool there. BPM up here, just give it a little double tap there. You can set the tempo to whatever you like. Turn on your metronome level. This is very cool. So in our transport options, let's go to bars and beats. There's also samples and SMPTE, which is more for video editing, things like that. But the bars and beats is very, very cool here. So this will quantize everything so that we can set our BPM to 120 there. And in this where it says none, this is where we can kind of control our cursor movements. So the bars here is very cool. So this is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry, we want beats. No, I'm sorry, bars. There we go. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. Beats is going to divvy that into fourths for you there. And then you can even go into fourths of that beat and so on and so forth. So you can get in very, very tight there, but the bars is what we want to use right now. And we also want to get some tracks going on. So we could just go to add track here. This is where we could pick however many we want, up to 48 if you were so inclined. All stereo if you like. Hit OK. They will add themselves there for you. Well, we're going to concern ourselves with import audio. And this is our local folders here on the left, where we can go to a previous project and just say import the drum track from a different song that we made. Anything that's in our project folders here. Whoops. And then the Dropbox here is on the right, and this is what we're going to use. So our stems is what we want, and when we tap on each of these here, we can see that there are little plus signs for our destination track, meaning that it's going to add a new one. If we already had tracks going on, if we had 6 tracks, we could map them each individually right there and assign them how we see fit. But we want to add new tracks for everything that we're going to add, and we can hit OK. And I went back and forth about whether to do this in real time or not, but it goes by very, very quick. So I just kind of want to show you, too, how easy it is to sort of keep stuff on Dropbox and bring it right back inside of Auria. Sorry, I have to train myself to say Auria. It's one of those things, it's like Moog, where you say it wrong for so long and then you finally realize it's pronounced Moog, So Auria, but I might call it Aria again. So my apologies. But in any case, here we go. It's importing everything that we got going on. And then these are the stems. These are the various tracks. We have a bass track, drum track, keyboards, and guitars here. And then we have our completed version here. And I'm just going to solo this. We have mute and solo buttons. So, rather than solo, you can mute everything if you like there. But we are soloing our complete version here. And you can kind of hear, it's got that awesome 80s feel that Doug is known for here. Yeah, I've actually really had a lot of fun working with this little stem project here. So there it is. That's what we're going to be working with today. So back to what I was saying with, having this in bars and beats. This was made in Reason, I know, Reason for the desktop. And Doug did this in 120 BPM. So by having this in 120 BPM and using our bars and beats here, we can just chop these all into groups of 4 here for our little blocks. And so we can select a track and just split one, or we can split all, and that'll just split right down the middle wherever the cursor is. So we'll do that again here, splitting all these right up. And now we have little blocks that we can pick up and arrange. So we can hold on one and wait for it to turn red, and then you can move it around like this. So now that we have our little stems, we can take our drum intro, move this over here. Let's say we want to add the bass in a little later than where it comes in right now. We could do that. And just kind of move these all around however we see fit, which I already do have prearranged. So let's go ahead and open up that project. Go to Load Project, and Arranged Blocks is the name of my project there. And there we go. So these are our same pieces, just kind of rearranged now how I wanted them. And we also have a blank track up top here, which we'll get to in a little bit. I also removed the complete version down there too. But yeah, so now this kind of builds. We took a 40-second song, and we made it looks like 1:40. So it's kind of nice. You can using BPM and being real rigid with that, we can make nice clean loops that we can chop up and move around there. So very cool stuff. So we can kind of listen through this, and I'm just going to talk about it as it's going. But right now, I've kind of got this all building up right now. And, our guitars are going to come in right with the bass there. A second guitar is going to build up, and so on and so on. And we have a little dropout here with the bridge. Or bridge, I guess we'll call it, And this is where we're going to do some editing right now. Again, we can sort of hear how we're building up. And now we've got, we're in the crux of our song here, our big chorus. And right here, I wanted to put in a little bridge solo kind of thing. So you can sort of hear what we got going on with that. I want the guitars to drop out and that keyboard to keep going on, but, change the dynamic a bit. So in order to do that, we are going to kind of process some of this audio and trim it up, chop it up a little bit more, and do what we can here. So let's just take a single piece. I want to make these guitars kind of strike a chord here at the beginning, so that it doesn't just have that abrupt ending that, cut off right there. Let's add another guitar part to this, and I want to zoom in on this and kind of show you our handles here. So on each piece of audio, you have, it's the same on the left-hand side here too. There we go. We have a fader where we can, fade in and out of these pieces. So when we solo that, you can hear it, kind of fade in there. You can set the curves to that over here on the right-hand side. So if you want a more swoopy S shape, or if you're doing this with vocals, that's actually really, really handy. Yeah, we can reset that back up there. Same over here. You can zoom in, and just trim the audio this way. Just shorten it up. We also have this gain control up here, which is really, really cool. So you can, raise the gain of the specific piece however you like it. So let's just undo that one real quick. And we can also double tap and select like this. So say we want, let's double tap again. Say we want to double tap right here. There we go. And you can zoom in and get however precise you'd like, and just raise the gain over here. We can go to Process. And this is where we have some really cool stuff that we could do. We could, I showed you the gain, so we could just raise the gain right there if we wanted to. You could normalize it. DC offset, which I only have a very vague understanding of. Reverse, we could just reverse this little piece inside of our loop. You can see the waveform is backwards now. You can undo that. You can make it silent. So if you had a vocal track, you could just highlight the regions that aren't the actual voice and silence it there. And there's also crossfading and condensing the regions. So let's undo the silent treatment there. And yeah, and so let's talk about the this handle over here. So when we hold it down there, we can see that it made a little arrow for us. Wait till you see the arrow, and then drag right, and that will copy this over to the next piece there. So rather than say hitting, selecting this, copying, moving your cursor, and pasting it in there, you can just do the little handle there and drag it over. So very cool. So now that we have these extra little pieces, we want to just chop off the chord there at the very beginning. So we'll actually go to none up here. And let's kind of zoom way in here. There we go. We could fade it a little bit if we wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And we'll do this here too. And this one is like the real, chuggy guitar there. So I see just a little tiny spike up right there. So that's where we'll cut that one off. So yeah, so now we can hear. So we got that nice little guitar stop right there. So it's just a little bit better than having the clean chop. But let's do a little dynamics for the drums here too. So with this, let's grab this handle, and actually let's do this. Let's undo that and do this back to the bars. Let's do this to quarter beats, and now we can get right where we like it. Which I just want this kick and this little hat right there. And that's all I want. So similar to, say we just wanted like the chord change thing. Just have a little kick. And you heard the little snap, the little cymbal there. If you just wanted the kick, you could obviously shorten that. But let's copy this. Whoops. Created a little locator there. So let's do that. Move this back over here. Paste. Do that 4 times. And now we can use our multi-select here. And let's join these regions right up. And now we should just have our... So we got a little just driving kind of kick drums, hi-hat little thing going on there. So let's move this back to bars. Copy this and paste it on over a few times. Now for this piece, let's turn off the multi-select. And with the multi-select, be very, very careful because, yeah, you can have something highlighted you didn't mean to, and you hit delete or something, and you've deleted a piece that you didn't intend. So keep your eye out for that. But let's delete this second half of our little bridge. And let's insert the intro. So we'll just hit copy there and paste it on in. There's also audio copy and audio paste. Make sure you're not hitting the wrong one there, but you can use that with it's the Retro Nims Audio Copy 2.0 if you're so inclined. But let's copy that little kick piece again, and we'll paste it in there, paste it in there, and one more time. And now we can see that we have left ourselves that little cool snare drive up fill there. So this is our bridge now. So very cool. So we were have really changed the dynamic quite a bit. The other thing that I'd like to do is we'll go to multi-select again and just copy all these little pieces. They're very little, so we gotta. Okay. Let's backtrack a moment here. I shouldn't have done that while we were playing the audio here. So let's turn off multi-select and just tap on something else so that we can make sure that there's nothing else highlighted elsewhere. And now we'll just grab these 3 little pieces and our drums, and we'll hit copy. And let's send that over to the end of our song and hit paste. And let's shorten this back up again. Cool, so there we go. Could do the same thing for our bass, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And now we have all of our editing done that we want to do to our little blocks here. So very cool stuff. In our bridge here, I'd like to add in a solo, as it were. So by pinching here, we can bring this back in, pinch out to zoom out. So on our first track here, let's go to our effects, and this is where we can add in some inter-app audio. This is also our equalizer, compressor, expander. Again, I'm not a recording engineer, so I don't even want to touch on this kind of stuff just because there are much better tutorials out there. This is more about just arranging a song and getting going. So over here in our channel strip, on the very top where it says None, we can pick in all of our effects plugins that we have, or all of our inter-app audio, either effects or instruments. So as you can see, like Drum Perfect has 16 different instruments, which is awesome because that means that it's like, you have your kick here, your snare here, your hi-hat there, and map it all to 16 different tracks inside of Auria if you like, and mix it down that way. Same thing with Jam Maestro there, same thing with Loopy, and same thing with ThumbJam, which is what we're going to use right now. So the other aspect of this, so like I said, there's 8 different instruments in ThumbJam. You can map them each here. We're just going to pick the first one, the general output. And it pops over to ThumbJam for us. There's our transport controls, so we could play the song right from the app here and even arm and record it. And we can tap on there to take us back to Auria. And a lot of people, wish that Auria had MIDI here, which is a big point of contention because it's sort of been coming for a little while, and people just can't wait, So, unfortunately, this is an awesome program as it is, so we can just use a little workaround in the meantime. And it's actually very, very simple to use this. We're going to use Beatmaker, and we'll do our last autosave. And we can see I've got a little MIDI clip that I've created, and we're going to use this with the pedal steel sound inside of ThumbJam. So this, I've already set it to start where I want it to at the 29th measure there. So we can hit stop, make sure we're at the beginning of our track here. And when we go back into Auria, and I'm not going to get into the MIDI connections between Beatmaker and ThumbJam, that's its own tutorial. But we can check our settings here in Auria, and over on the right-hand side is MIDI, and this is where we can make sure that we are sending our clock to Beatmaker. And now when we close this out, we should be armed here, but let's double check. Yep. We can record this. So it's just the dry pedal steel sound, and we're going to have to listen to the... and we have a little message here telling us that we're using too many resources, it looks like. So over here on the right, we can check those out. It looks like our memory's at 132, which usually isn't that bad. Let's make sure I don't have any other extra programs going on. Let's just try it again. Let's just see what happens. Sometimes you anger the Auria gods, and they'll help you out again later. So let's just see if this works for us. All right. So yeah, let's just listen through the track here. Enjoy. MIDI clip enabled solo is going to come up right now. So there we go. So there is our process inter-app audio. We can even remove ThumbJam now, and just have a look at our recorded audio. We can close down Beatmaker. We can close down ThumbJam. And yeah, so it's a really nice, simple, easy workaround to use Beatmaker. I'm sure you could probably do this with Cubasis or something too. I don't have that, unfortunately. But when using MIDI like this, where it's not built right into the app, there can be just like a slight bit of latency. So we can see this at 29 there. The beginning of our note is like the top of that little transient audio file there, and so we can just manually nudge this over. So we can split this right here, delete this piece that has nothing on it, and let's go to none. And then now we can just pick this up and nudge it right to the beginning there. So it's not a perfect solution using the MIDI, but it is what it is, and it's still very, 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 very handy to be able to clock sync it and just import it in that way. So yeah, so you could set, like Beatmaker, you could have 8 different tracks of MIDI controlling the 8 different ThumbJam channels, all on their own inter-app audio effect there, or audio, inter-app audio instrument, whatever you want to call it. And there you go. So yeah, so these are the pieces of our song now. We've pretty much done all the editing that we want to. I think, I don't know, let's touch on, you can do the multi-select here, and like this middle piece here, we can join all of our regions up if we like. Join them there. And then now that way we have just one piece to work with, so when we were making all of our blocks, if we just want to grab this whole chorus, you can grab each piece there. We can select, and join them up there. You can select them all and move everything all at the same time if you like, which is very cool. The crossfading is pretty cool, so what we can do with that is, let's see, what would be the easiest way to show this one off? Let's do that, and just pop that over there, select that guy, and hit crossfade, and now we can just see it right there. We'll solo it. So you kind of heard it descend and then ascend all at the same time. The nice little clean crossfade. Obviously, you can be a little bit more thorough than I was, but yeah. And there's a pretty good amount of undos you can do, so don't be scared to get in there and do some editing. And if you don't like something, just undo it. Yeah. So, the other thing that too I wanted to show you is ripple edit mode. So this is pretty cool. So in ripple edit mode, you can go to your menu settings, and I think it's in general. No, it's in the editor. Ripple edit mode, and you can make this either global or active. And right now we'll choose global. And what this allows us to do is we can highlight all of these pieces. Well, like let's say we just want to remove the intro up here. Whoops, we can select them all. And when we delete them, everything is going to move forward for us. Just like that. Sorry, that did not work as I intended. I'm sorry. We have to enable ripple edit mode in our editor here. So let's undo that. Select them all again. Sorry. Okay, then we go to our ripple edit mode there. And then now when we delete these, everything moves forward for us. So very, very cool stuff with the ripple edit mode. Just, yeah, like if you want to remove an entire section of the song. So we'll undo that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for editing. Let's touch on mixing for a second here. So mixing, this is our window here for us, and each track has its own channel strip. So this is where you're going to find your expander, your compressor. Make sure if you ever want to use these that you turn off the bypass there. And let's just solo our bass for a second. We can add a little high pass filter there, low pass. add inter-app audio effects right here if we like. If we want to get a, I don't know, say one of the Holderness apps or anything like that. I wonder if this is all instruments up on top and then effects down here on the bottom. It does look like that, yeah. So, add in space, add in PQ, whatever you like there. We also have all of our plugins available to us here, so we could add, a little bit of reverb to it. You can bypass that so you can hear what it sounds like without it on. But let's go to none there. Also, what we can do too. Okay, let's just add in that reverb right back again. Once we kind of start adding in all of our effects here, we can freeze the track, which is very, very handy. So this basically, it's sort of like exporting it or just rendering the audio, I suppose, where it's creating a rendered file that it can play back rather than creating a file being affected by, rather than having a piece of audio that it's affecting through the classic verb, then through the, Pro Q filter, whatever you're using, you can freeze it and then just create like a rendered piece of audio. So it really reduces your resources. Very, very helpful to have that. Saturation is just like an on-off where you can add warmth to it. And there's polarity, which, that's like if you've recorded a guitar with like 2 mics or something, you could adjust the polarity there. So if they're causing noise cancellation or what have you. Mute and solo there. There's our pan and our auxiliary. Just basically mimicking, this whole fader here. And so it's really just these bottom pieces that that are additional for our fader over there. And then obviously the entire channel strip thing here. And there's also all sorts of presets to use, which is very, very cool. So yeah, there's the pan controls. We can read and write automation. So this is very, very cool. So let's just start from the beginning here. And actually let's use make sure that we're bypassing that right there. Let's use our drum track, and we'll read and write the automation. We'll turn it down. And now when we hit play, we are writing automation. And now we can play that back and see that it jumped down to 0 there again for us. And we can watch it move again, which is very, very, very cool. And alternatively, we can do the same thing over in our edit screen. And when we zoom this guy open, where it says audio, this is where you can adjust various settings and automate them. So inside of our channel strip, you can automate your equalizer, whatever you like. You can automate the panning. There's all sorts of stuff. And when you have like the fab filters going and everything, this list can just be a beast. So make sure that you're just looking for whatever's in yellow is the plugin or the effect. And then whatever's in white here is whatever is being automated. So yeah, so now we can just like look at our curve that we just created. We can delete these points as well, just by highlighting them there and just deleting the points. And then this way, see how it's kind of wavy? We can create a much cleaner ramp up there if we like. Alternatively, you can press and hold to add them in. And once you've grabbed a hold of one, you can move it around like that. So very, very cool stuff. So if we want to, just make it quieter again, you can do that there. So there you go. So the automation is very, very cool, very easy to use. Make sure you have read on in order to read it. And if you want to write it in, as the song is playing, like with the faders and things like that, use the write there. Otherwise, just draw it in manually. We can also go to edit and delete all automation. Sorry, that's in the menu there. Clear all automation. You can also reset the mixer, which we will also do right now too. And I'll actually, let's jump over there so you can see and reset the mixer. It'll double check that you want to do that. And there you go. So yeah, so that's some of our functions that we can do while mixing. You know, there's the auxiliary channels here. You can set that over here on your master, right up there if you want to put reverb or something and have the auxiliary sends form there. Our master channel also has its own, you know, effects and effect sources, inter-app audio, things like that. So yeah, so let's add in some Timeless right now. And let's just take a quick look at a couple of these fab filters just to show you what they're all about. So this is the default setting. We can bypass it, and we can just hear, you know, this is our dry track. This is with a little bit of a delay. We can start playing around in here. We can change them channel by channel. Unfortunately, the signal you are hearing right now is in mono. I'm going to include a mixed down stereo version of this at the end of the video, but excuse me, right now you are hearing mono so that I can record this and my voiceover at the same time and blah, blah, blah. But in any case, that is our delay here, and what we can do is basically the lock button there, this is our left side and our right side, and we control these independently or tie them together, and then they now move in sync. So you can adjust your delay time knob right there. Otherwise, you can adjust it to your BPM, which is very, very cool. Also keep in mind for all of these controls, whether it's here or on your channel strip, that you can see what is being affected up here. So now it's 2 notes, note, etc., etc. Same thing when we're using our dry mix. We can see the exact values there. So really, really handy to have that, you know, if you're trying to get very exact. So I like this short chorus echo, just as a general quick and easy delay to put on there. So there we go. So that's a little bit from our Timeless plugin there. Let's look at ProQ. ProQ is really easy to use on every track if you want to. This is just a very, very easy to use EQ, and it comes with a nice analyzer here where we can take a look. This is pre and post. So this means this is what is currently coming in, and once we start adding in, we can see the difference between the pre and the post. So if you just want to see the after effect, you know, you can do that. Let's, instead of a bell, let's make this a low cut. And now we can really hear we're just kind of getting rid of a lot of that bottom end. We can add in as many of these points as we like. You know, adjust the cue, and this is really, you know, use our frequency over here, and now we can kind of sweep. So very cool stuff with the EQ there. These effects can all also be automated. We can highlight one there and hit the little X to delete it. This is all MIDI learnable. So you know, if we have a controller or something, we can assign these however we like, which is very cool. Our Auria itself does not have MIDI learn, but the Fabfilter plugins do, as well as what other, you know, inter-app audio instruments you're using. So yeah, so let's add in, you know, a high cut too, I suppose. And take a listen again. And let's just make sure, you know, just to kind of roll off a bit of that top end. Yeah, you can double tap to reset everything to 0. So let's get that cue to 0 there. Adjust to our frequency. So very cool. That's the Fabfilter. There's a, I'm sorry, those are here are all of the general settings that it has for you. You got a drum one, and a vocal one. You saw in the Timeless one, there's a million different presets for that. So yeah, very cool stuff. Also in our master strip, you know, it looks a little bit different. You know, this and our subgroups all have this style master strip, with the equalizer here on the left and the compressor in the middle and a limiter instead of the expander. And yeah, so you know, we can create subgroups for all of these. So our guitar parts here, we could group these all into subgroup 1. And now, whoops, that part doesn't have guitar already. So let's just rewind a bit. So we can see, you know, they stay stationary, but they're now being controlled by a subgroup. So if you want to have individual effects over there, but then, you know, run them all through a compressor or something over here, you could do that. Compress them all together. And alternatively, instead of the subgroups, let's just set them back to 0 there, or the nil. And we can group our faders too. So now these are all 1 and 2, you know, 1s. Let's see here. Now that we have 1s, do it again, and that's how we can do our 2s. Unfortunately, you can't add to 1 after you've added 2s, if that makes sense. But we could add 3. So now, you know, these move in unison, and just very easy to group your faders that way. Let's reset our mixer, though, and just level that all back out to 0. It still keeps our effects over here that we got going on. So very cool stuff there. Yeah, you know, and I kind of touched on the CPU versus memory. Make sure that you are, you know, staying on top of that. You don't have to display this if you don't want. But the memory here, you know, the higher it is, the better. So if you are looking at this and it's getting down real low, that's when you can start freezing your tracks, things like that. So yeah, we can double tap to, you know, rename down here if you like. What else do we got going on? There is an extended meter here where you can look at RMS versus peak. You know, so it's yeah, got that going on there. And yeah, I'm trying to just make sure that I've covered everything that I want to here. You know, like I said, we could be here all day talking about this. This is such a deep program, and you know, I fully admit I don't understand, you know, a good deal about some of the technical details of how to use some of this stuff. But you know, I wanted to give you a good overview on how to get a track going on and what we can do to mix with it. I'm going to include a little version of this song at the end of the video here where I've mixed it a little bit better. And yeah, you know, yeah, let's quickly touch on the device linking, because I think this is pretty cool. I'm not sure everybody knows about this. So if you have 2 copies of Auria, 2 devices here, let's open this up on my second iPad sitting right next to me here. We can add in, or we can link them, basically. Very similar to Whist, which this also supports. But now in our settings on our second iPad, we will use the Auria link, hit connect, and it's looking. We'll hit connect over here. And now this is looking. And sometimes it could take a bit to find each other. But there we go. Looking for peers. Let's see here. So, like I said, sometimes this could take a little minute. Let's accept it. And there we go. And now this one is our master. And when we hit play over here, we can see that we are controlling our transport over here. So same thing when you scrub. So when we, you know, bring these over like this. So very cool. So you can effectively double the amount of tracks and work with a project this way. So especially if you know, we're recording these iPads out into a separate mixer and, you know, separate output that way. But yeah, so very, very cool stuff with the Auria link. Yeah, we can go to our user guide right here, right within the app, which is very, very handy. Go to the Auria forum. There are tons of great users over there who will give you lots of tips and tricks. our store, and yeah, and our mix down here. So this is where once we've completed our project and have all of our levels set and everything good to go, we can export to Dropbox, SoundCloud, email, or audio share. We can export the project to our Dropbox as well, which was in the menu screen up here. You can also go to File Type here and go to Stems and export every single track, which is very, very handy. And also import this as a new track. So very cool stuff. So there's our wave. Let's send this over to Audio Share, and it creates our mix down, and we'll be able to take a listen. But yeah. So like I said, stay tuned for the final mix of this song here, and I hope this was pretty helpful here for you. If this influenced a purchase for you today, please use the link that I'm going to include in the description here. It really helps us out. Check us out on Patreon. Just check us out at thesoundtestroom.com. We just got a new forum, so things are looking up for us, and it's all because of you guys, and I really appreciate everybody watching. So, all right, take care, and we'll see you again next time real soon.